Yo, what's up guys? There is a super exploitive takedown in UFC 5 that needs to be fixed immediately. I'm talking about the pull mount takedown from the body lock clinch. Right now, this takedown cannot be stopped, and the worst part, it dumps you straight into the most broken position in the entire game. Top mount, where you can ground and pound your opponent to a TKO or lock in some of the strongest submissions in the game. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how people are doing it, why it happens, and what EA Sports needs to change to fix this problem before UFC 6 comes out. Right now, I'm going to show you how this takedown actually works and how it was intended by EA. Then we'll move on to how players are abusing it in a way that's completely exploitive, basically cheesing or outright cheating, using a glitch that lets them land this takedown every single time. Because at the end of the day, there should always be an option to stop this takedown. Right now, there isn't in some situations. I'm using Arman Tsarukyan in the orthodox stance. To perform this takedown properly, my opponent needs to whiff at least 2 strikes so I can gain that short-term stamina advantage. Once I've got that, all I need to do is hold the left trigger, the rear punch button, and the rear kick button to shoot a double leg takedown. Then I immediately cancel the takedown by holding the right trigger, and that puts me straight into the body lock clinch position you see here. Now all I've got to do is hold the right bumper and the rear punch button, and I should perform the pull mount takedown, which is essentially just a pull guard that sweeps you straight into mount. Now I'm going to show you how to defend the pull mount takedown. So Arman Tsarukyan has 95 takedown defense, whereas Islam Makhachev has 98 takedown offense. The difference between those two numbers is literally 3, which is just about enough to give me the option to pre-deny the pull mount takedown simply by holding the right trigger, as you can see here. However, if Islam had a 4-point stat advantage or more, for example, if he had 100 takedown offense like Khabib, then I would not be able to pre-deny this takedown at all. The game just ignores your pre-deny when the attacker has 4+ stat advantage. And here's the annoying part, most fighters in lightweight don't even have high takedown defense stats. Jens Pulver is literally the only lightweight who can pre-deny Khabib's pull mount because he has 97 takedown defense compared to Khabib's 100 takedown offense stat. So the rule is simple, if your opponent has 4 or more takedown offense over your takedown defense stat, you cannot pre-deny the pull mount takedown, which kinda sucks, and I hope that can change in the future. However, every fighter in the game can still hit the late denial to the pull mount takedown. All you have to do is wait for the animation to begin and then press the right trigger. You must intentionally wait. If you hold block early trying to pre-deny when the stat gap is too big, the game won't allow you to deny either. So you basically lose your only chance to defend. Here's where things get problematic. A lot of players online are abusing this, the cheesers, the people who constantly fish for exploits and spam these takedowns. And what you're about to see is the pull mount takedown, but this time it cannot be stopped at all. My opponent is intentionally going to fish for the double leg takedown bail while my back is against the cage wall. And for a reason I'll explain in a moment, the game simply does not allow me to defend the pull mount takedown whatsoever when I'm this close to the cage wall. No pre-denial, no late denial, nothing works to stop this takedown. It's guaranteed. Here's me trying to do the late denial. Nothing will stop this, guys. He goes for it first, then I hold the right trigger, and he still gets it. It's super broken and exploitive. Now I'm going to talk about what I think is causing this problem. I believe the problem is completely tied to grapple advantage. When I'm standing with my back against the cage and my opponent is still far away, you'll notice that the GA bar at the top of the screen stays perfectly still. He doesn't have GA and I don't have GA either. But watch what happens when he steps closer while my back is touching the fence. My opponent's grapple advantage, the blue side of the bar, suddenly starts to spike up. So here's what I think is happening. When a player shoots a double leg takedown, cancels it into a body lock, and the defender's back is near the cage wall, the attacker gets that cage proximity GA boost. Then they immediately go for the pull mount takedown, and because they have that free GA from the cage, game just doesn't allow the defender to stop it. I genuinely believe the reason the pull mount becomes completely unstoppable is because of the grapple advantage you gain from being simply near the cage wall. Here's more proof why I believe grapple advantage is the problem. I'm now going to let my opponent completely butcher both my legs with kicks. And the reason I'm doing this is because leg kicks actually give you grapple advantage. Well, permanent grapple advantage, and you'll see exactly how that affects the pull mount takedown in a moment. Now guys, after all those leg kicks, you'll see that my opponent actually has permanent grapple advantage. You can see it clearly at the top of the screen. The blue GA bar is almost completely filled. And you'll now notice that the pull mount takedown now behaves exactly the same way it did when my back was near the cage wall. Completely unstoppable. The lingering grapple advantage from the leg kicks makes the takedown just as guaranteed as the cage grapple advantage did. So now I can confidently conclude that grapple advantage is the key problem here. The GA you get from being near the cage wall is what causes the unstoppable pull mount takedown in the first place, and the permanent GA you gain from leg kicks in UFC 5 is what makes the pull mount unstoppable anywhere in the cage, even in open space. With my legs completely butchered and my opponent sitting on permanent grapple advantage, I also discovered something interesting. I can't perform the pull mount takedown exploit against him, even with his back against the cage wall. This is probably because the GA boost I'm supposed to get from the cage isn't strong enough to override the permanent GA he has from all the leg kicks he landed on me. So as you can see here, he's actually able to deny the pull mount takedown even with his back against the cage wall. That proves how strong permanent GA is, and it shows again that GA is the core issue behind this entire exploit. Now we're going to talk about how I would suggest EA Sports fix this takedown, and I've broken it down into 3 simple options. Option 1, the easy option. They could just completely remove the pull mount takedown from the game, but this would heavily nerf grappling and it would suck for players who actually enjoy using the full clinch and takedown system. I don't recommend EA does this, but if they can't fix it any other way, then removing it is technically the quickest solution. Option 2, the medium difficulty option. Disable the effects of grapple advantage specifically inside the body lock clinch and keep the GA bar locked at 0-0 for both players in that position. This would stop the exploit, but it might also make takedowns too easy to deny, because GA normally speeds up your takedown attempts. This could accidentally nerf grapplers and turn UFC 5 into a pure striking game where every takedown gets denied. Option 3, the hard difficulty option, the ideal one. Simply fix the mechanic properly, make it so GA no longer gives you guaranteed pull mount takedowns. This issue has been in the game since day one, so I assume EA is aware of it. It's a huge problem, and maybe they've struggled to fix it, but I hope this video helps highlight the cause and gives them a clearer direction. This is the option I want. I don't want knock-on effects or gameplay or damage from an easy band-aid fix. I want the mechanic fixed properly so grappling stays strong, fair, and skill-based. So if EA Sports decides to never fix this exploit, there are actually 2 techniques you can use to avoid being abused by it. The first one is the inside trip. So if your opponent cancels their takedown and they hold you in that body lock clinch, then you want to hold the RB button and spam any kick button. I only recommend doing this when your back is right up against the cage wall. It kind of sucks because sometimes you don't want to take the fight to the ground. You might want to keep it standing, but this is the only guaranteed way to avoid the pull mount takedown, because the inside trip comes out faster than the pull mount takedown does. However, if you're playing an experienced cheeser, they will pre-deny this inside trip. When they pre-deny it, they'll regain control of the clinch position again, but at least the fight stays on the feet and you reset the situation. You still get more chances to defend the next takedown attempts, but yeah, it kind of sucks because they're just wasting time at this point and they've got more opportunities to just keep fishing for the pull mount exploit takedown. The next technique requires you to hold RB and press any punch button. I don't recommend doing this with your back against the cage. You should only use it when there's distance and your opponent is clearly trying to push you towards the fence. So again, the input is simple, hold RB and spam any punch button. But remember, the pull mount takedown is faster than this transition, so only use this option when you're in open space and you have room to work with. Another reason this technique is better in open space is because if your opponent does go for the pull mount takedown, which is faster than this transition, you'll still have the option to hit the late denial. As you can see here, when I use this in open space, I'm able to react and land the late denial on the pull mount takedown. Right guys, so that is the video. I'm really trying to do a good thing here. I feel like I have discovered the root cause for this takedown issue problem, and if I haven't, then I've screwed up and I've just made so many more people aware to this takedown exploit. But I hope GA is actually the problem, and I hope EA can use the info in this video to fix it. And I will use this opportunity, guys, to speak directly to EA Sports. If you are watching this video, I really want to become a game tester. It's been one of my goals for a really long time. I want to help you guys with future UFC 5 updates, even UFC 6. You know, I want to help test UFC 6, and I want it to be a very good game. I've got a lot of passion for these EA Sports UFC games. I'm really not after any money. That's not my goal. I actually just want good UFC games so that everyone can enjoy it and have fun. But that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like. Please subscribe for more content. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.